ever since being named John McCain's running mate, Americans have been curious to know more about Sarah Palin.
Well, one San Diegan knew her back when she was an aspiring TV sports intern. News 8's Steve Price joins us now with more on this interesting chapter in Sarah Palin's life. Steve?
And Barbara Lee and Carlo, it was an early chapter. In fact, it was before Sarah Palin became Sarah Palin. But even back then, this San Diegan knew that his hire was something special.
I'm not going to Washington to seek their good opinion.
This is when most of the country first met Sarah Palin, but not John Hernandez.
Well, I'd like to say she learned it all from me.
Hernandez hired Palin back in 1988 as his sports intern at a TV station in Anchorage, Alaska.
The Iditarod, of course, is the biggie, but it's not the only mushing going on.
She was Sarah Heath back then, fresh out of college with a degree in journalism.
The college basketball scene got frantic this weekend. Teams still in contention are chasing those 64 golden spots in the NCAA tournament.
Hernandez saw great potential.
When I knew Sarah Heath, she was a 24-year-old. Nice gal, very outgoing, very confident, but we never talked about politics.
Never talked about politics or her personal life. At the time, Sarah was already dating her soon-to-be husband, Todd Palin.
I had no idea that Todd Palin was her boyfriend from high school, and about the time I set out on a 3,600-mile drive from Anchorage to San Diego was the time that she eloped with Todd.
Hernandez left Anchorage and didn't talk to Sarah Heath again. In fact, it wasn't until just a few weeks ago that he figured out his former intern
has racked up 272 penalty minutes, and he's only
was the governor of Alaska. Hernandez was protective of Palin back then and still is today.
I've got some nutty left-wing liberal friends that are quick to point out inconsistencies and shortcomings, lack of experience, things like that. And I tell them, you know, you got to look at this like this is somebody who could be my daughter, okay? So don't go saying mean things about somebody who I have some emotion involved with.
But is it enough of an emotional involvement for this lifelong Democrat to vote for his former intern?
I was leaning toward Chuck Baldwin, the independent candidate, but I may have to change my mind. I'll see what happens in the next 60 days.
Well, it's been 20 years, but Hernandez still remembers exactly when he gave Palin her first big break. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and his weekend anchor wanted the day off, and Hernandez, well, he didn't want to work it either. So he called Palin that morning and told her that she would be making her on-air debut that evening. And I can remember when I first started in this business, when they called and said, you're getting your first big break, you jump on it.
Yep. The resemblance is still very strong. There's no real shock that that's her. I mean,
well,
she looked great then, and she looks great now. Yeah. Hairstyles are a little different. We're all guilty of that.
I agree with you there.
Thanks, Steve.